My name is Anthony Kimani, AFC Leopards head coach. Well, a couple of weeks prior to our then head coach, departing the country, I was called into a meeting with the AFC Leopards management, and that's when they informed me that they had decided that I would take over the team and I will lead the team for the remainder of the season. Well, as is expected, I was very, very happy. AFC Leopards is one of the biggest clubs in Africa, and that was, of course, a very, very huge privilege for me and an honor for me to handle one of the best clubs in the country and, of course, in Africa. So I was very, very excited. I knew it was going to be a huge challenge, but I felt like I was up to task, and I knew that together, if we all work together, if we all pull in the same direction, then we'll help the club progress. My coaching experience so far has been great. I think I've been very, very lucky to work with a group of players that are very, very talented, a group of players that have got very, very big ambitions, and that I think has made my work very, very easy. I've also been very fortunate to work with the technical bench that has got some of the best coaches in the country. I've been working with Tom Juma, one of the best coaches in our country. Coach Webo, one of the best goalkeeping coaches in Africa, and the current national team, goalkeeping coach. Ngusale, one of the best physios that I've ever seen in this country. And of course, a management that is led by a very, very good leader. Dr. Shikanda is somebody that has played the game. He understands the game in and out. And so I think I've been very, very fortunate to work around people that really, really mean well for the club. Well, looking at how the team has been performing for the last couple of years, I would say that this particular season has been better compared to the past few seasons. But in as much as it has been better, I still feel that we are not where we are supposed to be. I still feel that we have a lot of work to do in order to ensure that AFC Leopards regains its footing and its rightful place in Kenyan football and in African football as well. I would say the biggest challenge that we faced this particular season was the financial constraints that the team experienced. That made my work very, very difficult as a coach. At times it was very, very difficult to try and motivate the boys, knowing very well what they were going through off the pitch. But again, I think I've been very, very lucky to have a group of players that decided to look at the bigger picture, decided to look at their careers. And that's why we didn't have many cases of players boycotting training. I would also like to, give a big thanks to our captain. I think he has been a very, very good leader. He has led from the front. He has tried to ensure that in as much as we had a lot of challenges off the pitch, he tried to make sure that the players remain focused, and we all knew what we wanted to achieve this particular season. We didn't quite get there, but I still feel and think that this is a journey that is leading us in all the right places and in all the places that we really want to go to as a club. I think I've been, again, very, very lucky to have played for AFC Leopards a few seasons ago, a few years ago. And so deciding to take this job, I knew very well what was expected of me. I knew very, very well what our fans expect this club to do, the performance that is expected, the results that everybody yearns for. I'd also say that the few experiences that I've had as a player, especially with the national team, and of course leading Ngara United as the captain as well, I would say that those particular moments have really made me very, very strong as a player, as a person. I have this very, very strong mentality. And bottom line is that I always try to do my best. And at times, if my best is not good enough, then I get solace from the fact that I really did my level best. Well, when signing players, I think we look at a couple of factors. And one of the, I think, most important factor is, of course, that the player is talented. So we always look at how their technical ability is going to blend into the club, what they're going to add to our club. Of course, their tactical adaptation of how the club would like to play is also a huge factor when looking to sign new players. But I think most importantly is the level of discipline and the mentality that the player brings to the club as well, because there are very many talented players out there. But then again, when you come to the mental aspect of the game, when you come to the discipline aspect of that particular player, I think that is what makes a huge difference. So discipline for me is very important. And of course, again, as I've said, the mentality is also a huge aspect for me, and something that I never want to overlook, because you get to certain situations or moments in a match where the talent does not really get you where you want to go, but it's the mentality that gets you there. So mentality is a very important aspect for me when looking to sign a player for AFC Leopards. The January transfer window, we brought in a couple of players. The team was doing, I would say, well prior to that particular moment, but we needed to add in a few players that were going to come and complement and supplement the efforts of the players that were there. We went for very young players, apart from about 2 players, because I feel in as much as we want to perform very well at the moment, it's also very important to ensure that we prepare for the transition. But for instance, if the players that we've got right now are players that are not going to play for our club in the next 2 years, then I feel that it's very important that we have players on board that are going to be with the club, grow with the club, and players that will very seamlessly blend in and take over the responsibilities that will be left by the players that will be departing our club. I brought in 2 or 3 players that were straight from high school. These are players that are very talented. I feel that we also have an obligation as a club to try and give very young players an opportunity to showcase their talent. I know this is a club that has a lot of pressure, but we are well aware of that particular fact, and that is why you've seen that this particular season, for the remainder of the 2019-2020 season, a lot of the players that we signed did not take part in a lot of the matches. Of course, there are some that did manage to play. Somebody like Dan Sunguti did play, in a couple of matches. Omar Somobwana has played in 2 very important matches for us. Dan Samali is yet to get playing time. And of course, I think the best signing that we had in that period, or in that window, has to be Elvis Rupia. I think he came at the right time. He came just when we needed him the most. We had just lost our top scorer, who decided to join our team in Zambia. So we desperately needed a player that's going to come in and try to ensure that we keep on scoring the goals. And I think he has done a very decent job in as far as scoring goals is concerned. Many meetings with the rest of my colleagues, the entire AFC Leopards technical bench, looking to see which players are going to join us in the upcoming season. And so we've identified a few players that we feel are going to add a lot of value to the club. We are still following up on a lot of them to see whether that's going to be a possibility, or whether we're going to succeed in getting their signatures. We again have decided to go the experience way. So a lot of the players that are going to be coming in will be very experienced players that are going to come and add the much needed experience into the current squad that we have. And so if everything goes on as planned, I'm pretty sure AFC Leopards will be a very, very strong team come next season. Well, again, as I said earlier on, we have brought on board a lot of very, very young players. Players who might not come straight into the team and have a huge impact, but these are players that are going to grow with the club, and I'm pretty sure in the next season or two, these are players that are going to be doing very, very well for this particular club. And for any team to do well, I think it's very, very important to strike that balance, to get that blend of experience and, of course, young players as well. I think that is going to be very, very important moving forward. In the current squad, we have a few young players that have done very, very well for the club. We've got Austin, who I think has been exceptional this past season. We've got Omar Somobwana, who has given a good account of himself every time that he has had an opportunity to turn out for our club. And of course, Dan Sunguti has also showed glimpses of what he can do, given an opportunity. So going forward, I think we will try our level best as the technical bench to ensure that these particular players get, a lot of playing time as we move forward. And of course, as I said earlier on, AFC Leopards is a big club. It has a lot of pressure, that comes with playing for AFC Leopards. So we're also going to be very, very careful in as how we introduce these particular players to our club, because we don't want to throw them, in the deep end before we feel that they are really, really ready to take in the pressure that comes with playing for AFC Leopards. I get a lot of inspiration from Jurgen Klopp. I think he's one of the few coaches who has an ability to get the most out of his players. Looking at how he has managed to transform the current Liverpool squad, looking at what he managed to achieve during his days at Borussia Dortmund, I would say he's a coach that has managed to do so well, in as much as he has not been to clubs that have got the amount of resources that some of the top clubs in Europe has. So I think he's a player that he's a coach that has a way, of getting, again, as I said, the best out of his players. It's not something that you get to see in a lot of coaches. So he's one coach that I really, really look at. During this COVID-19 period, we have experienced a few challenges as coaches. And one of the main challenges that we've experienced is the inability to track in real time what our players are doing and whether they are doing all the right things that they've been asked to do. Our fitness trainer drafted a plan and shared with the players, and that's the plan that the players have been following. And basically what we are looking to achieve with those particular plans is to ensure that our players can maintain a certain level of fitness. We are very, very well aware of the fact that they are not going to be in tip-top condition, but as long as they can manage to maintain a certain level of fitness, I think that is something that is going to help us when we resume the new season. Well, I do enjoy having my ugali with a bit of sukuma wiki. So I would say that that's the meal that really gets me going. It's a very, very simple meal, but it's something that I quite enjoy when I get to have it. Well, I'd like to thank AFC Leopards, entire fraternity, starting from the fans to the management, to the playing unit and the technical bench. I think this particular season, in as much as we were not able to achieve what we had set out to achieve, I feel that we were very, very close as a family. We all came very, very close during the difficult periods that we faced this particular season. And going forward, I feel that if we continue with the same attitude, if you continue to come together, if you continue, to rally around everybody that has AFC Leopards at heart, to come on board and ensure that we can all steer this club in the right direction, then I think there's a lot of good things that are in store for us, going into the new season. I know that we have endured a lot as a club. I know that for the last couple of seasons, we have not been where we want to be as a club. We've not been doing what is expected of us, but I feel that the time is coming. I feel that we've started doing all the right things that we are supposed to be doing, or that we were supposed to be doing in the years that have gone by. And I feel that we are getting closer and closer
to where we really deserve to be as a club.